I woke up as the fake heiress. My mission? Bully the real daughter until she broke. The system issued its first directive. Grind her face into the mud. Make her taste absolute humiliation. I dragged her to a 5-star wellness retreat for a premium botanical mud wrap. The next morning, she was glowing, outshining everyone. The system panicked. Force her into manual labor. Work her until she collapses. I bought her a VIP membership at an elite private gym. She squatted while shredded trainers fed her buttered lobster tails, sweating through designer gear. The system flashed red alerts. Wait, you call this bullying? When I first arrived, Lily stood on the Kensington estate doorstep in pouring rain. Her faded denim jacket was soaked. Eleanor, the woman who raised me, sat on a velvet sofa with red eyes, frozen, terrified to scare her biological daughter away. Richard, the patriarch, looked her up and down with a dark expression. And me? Blair Kensington, the fake daughter pampered for 18 years, draped in a cashmere throw, sipping Earl Grey in the dead center of the couch. A mechanical voice echoed in my skull. Villainous system, binding complete. Host's current identity, Blair Kensington, the fake heiress. Mission objective, follow the original plotline. Humiliate the true heiress, Lily, and accumulate malice points. Once malice points reach 100, host will be rewarded with $50 million and returned to the real world. 50 million. My fingers twitched against my teacup. In the real world, my mom was lying in a hospital bed, waiting for her surgery fees. To me, 50 million wasn't just striking it rich. It was salvation. I hesitated for exactly 3 seconds. Then the system dropped my first assignment, novice mission. Within 10 minutes, shove the true heiress's face roughly into the mud. Make her understand her lowly status. I looked toward the grand entryway. Lily stood there with her head bowed. Rainwater dripped from the ends of her dark hair. According to the novel's plot, she was switched at birth and sent to the Fletcher family. The Fletchers were deadbeats who favored boys and treated her like an unpaid maid. The system started its countdown. 10, 9, 8. I set my tea down and stood up. Lily heard the movement and looked up at me. She looked exactly like a half-drowned stray cat. She was clearly terrified, yet she was trying so hard to hide her claws. I walked right up to her and let my voice drop into a cold drawl. Come with me. Eleanor jumped up. Blair, where are you taking her? The system buzzed with sick excitement. Yes, exactly like that. Drag her out. Show her who really owns this house. I ignored my adoptive mother. I grabbed Lily by her wrist and pulled her back out the door. Her wrist was incredibly thin. I felt her flinch the second my fingers wrapped around her skin, but she didn't fight back. She just asked in a breathless whisper, "What are you doing?" I shot her a nasty glare. "Putting you in your place." Eleanor practically tripped over the rug. Blair, but Richard didn't stop me. He just frowned and muttered, "Keep it out of the tabloids." The system purred in my head. Malice atmosphere aligns perfectly with the original plot. Please proceed, host. Lily lowered her eyes and followed me into the waiting Bentley. She sat rigidly beside me, her spine completely straight. I glanced at her soaking wet hair. I tried to ignore it, but I eventually snatched a pristine dry towel from the console and threw it at her. Dry off. Don't ruin my leather seats. Lily blinked in surprise. Thank you. The system instantly went on high alert. Host, you are exhibiting suspected care toward the target. I kept my face perfectly blank. She's dripping everywhere. It's bad for the luxury aesthetic. The system paused. Understood. Logic accepted. 20 minutes later, my driver pulled up to an exclusive, invite-only beauty sanctuary in the city center. I dragged her through the glass doors. The front desk manager recognized me instantly, slapping on a 100-watt smile. "Miss Kensington, what treatment are we doing today?" I slammed my black Centurion card onto the marble counter. Not for me. For her. Book her for the most expensive botanical mud wrap you have. Face, neck, shoulders, back, the whole 9 yards, and make sure you slather that mud on thick. The manager didn't miss a beat. Right away, Miss Kensington. My host's body had an unlimited credit limit, but the system strictly forbade converting this wealth into real-world cash. The only way to save my mom was to earn that $50 million reward. Lily finally couldn't hold it in anymore. She stared at me, totally bewildered. Blair, what are you actually trying to do? I crossed my arms and gave her my best mean girl sneer. Didn't you hear me? I'm getting your face shoved in the mud. She went completely pale. The system glitched in my brain. Host, the mission requires humiliation, not a luxury spa purchase. I replied mentally. Is there mud on her face? Yes. Did I force someone to push it onto her? Yes. Is her face physically in the mud? The system went dead silent. Evaluating novice mission. Evaluation successful. 2 hours later, Lily walked out of the treatment suite. Her previously dull, exhausted complexion now looked like polished porcelain. She looked at her shoes. Thank you. The system pinged again. New mission. Tomorrow night is the welcome home gala. Host must publicly humiliate the true heiress and turn her into the laughingstock of the entire party. I looked at Lily's gorgeous glowing face. A slow smile spread across my lips. A laughingstock? Sure. Let's give them a show they'll never forget. The Kensington estate was decked out for the gala. The elite guests wore polite plastic smiles, but the whispers traveling through the ballroom were sharp enough to draw blood. I heard the real daughter grew up in some dead-end trailer park. The Kensingtons raised Blair for 18 years and now they just swap her out? God, how awkward. The system was screaming in my head. Please execute the mission immediately. Make the target suffer public humiliation. I looked toward the grand staircase. Lily was walking down. She was wearing the mist blue evening gown I had bullied the stylist into picking. The skirt wasn't overly dramatic, but the cut cinched her waist perfectly, making her look elegant and ethereal. The entire ballroom went silent for a split second. Eleanor covered her mouth, her eyes welling up with tears. I picked up a flute of champagne and walked to the base of the stairs. When Lily saw me approaching, her shoulders visibly stiffened. Perfect. The villainous reputation was still doing the heavy lifting. This would make my performance so much easier. I stopped right in front of her. I kept my voice at the perfect volume, loud enough for the gossiping socialites nearby to hear. Lily. The music seemed to fade. Everyone was watching. I reached out, grabbed Lily's wrist, and pulled her right into the center center of the ballroom floor. Her fingers were freezing. She asked in a frantic whisper, "What are you doing?" I walked straight up to the live band and snatched the microphone from the MC. "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing up here tonight because I want to treat you all to a massive joke." The guest's eyes lit up with predatory excitement. Lily's face lost all its color. I turned to her and snapped, "Stand up straight." She froze. I scowled. I said, "Stand up straight." "Did the Kensingtons bring you all the way back here just so you could cower like a kicked dog?" Lily's eyelashes fluttered. Then, very slowly, she pulled her shoulders back and straightened her spine. I nodded in satisfaction. I turned back to the crowd of vultures. "The joke is on all of you, because you wasted your time coming here tonight." I paced a few steps. "You all showed up hoping for a catfight. You wanted to see the fake daughter tear apart the real one. You wanted to watch this family implode. Well, I hate to break it to you, but you're out of luck." The system stalled. I shoved the microphone directly into Lily's hands. "Speak." Lily looked at me in sheer panic. I leaned in and whispered viciously, "If you squeak like a mouse, I'll sign you up for 20 hours of public speaking boot camp tomorrow." Lily's lips parted. "My name is Lily." Her voice trembled at first, then steadied. "I am not here to steal anyone's life, and I am certainly not a punchline for your entertainment. I am simply taking the place that was always meant to be mine." Eleanor burst into tears right there in the crowd. When the applause erupted, the system nearly shattered my eardrums. "Host, the mission was to make her the laughingstock of the party. She is, isn't she? How is this a laughingstock? Are people smiling in the crowd? Those are smiles of relief and admiration. And is she holding the stock of the microphone? Smiling. Stock. Both conditions met, right? The system went quiet for 3 very long seconds. The next morning, the system was back to its unhinged demands. Main storyline mission. Punish the true heiress by making her scrub the entire mansion. She is absolutely not allowed to stop until she is dripping with sweat. I had barely opened my eyes. I seriously considered sitting up and cursing the system out. Half an hour later, I summoned Lily to the living room. She looked a tiny bit more relaxed than yesterday, but the moment she saw me, that instinctual tension came right back. "What's wrong?" I slapped a plastic card onto the glass coffee table. "Your punishment." She looked down at it. It was a VIP annual pass to the Equinox Elite Training Center. I delivered my sentence with stone-cold severity. "Starting today, you're going to scrub every single day." Lily looked completely lost. "Scrub what?" "Scrub the fat," I said with a straight face. "Full-body, high-intensity interval training. We call it fat scrubbing. Making you mop the floors is too basic. If a Kensington daughter is going to scrub something, she's scrubbing her body fat percentage." The gym was even more ridiculous than I imagined. A lineup of elite personal trainers stood at the entrance. Broad shoulders, narrow waists, blindingly bright smiles. It looked like a casting call for a billionaire romance movie. Just as we walked in, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Eleanor. "Come home tonight. We need to discuss the living arrangements for you and Lily." I stared at the screen. My stomach dropped. Here it comes. According to the original plot, the day after the welcome gala, the Kensingtons hold a family meeting. On the surface, it's a discussion about how to accommodate both girls. But in reality, it's the moment they decide what to do with the fake daughter. In the book, my character has a complete meltdown. She cries, screams, and accuses Lily of ruining her perfect life. She forces Richard and Eleanor to make a choice. Her or me. That brutal argument is the exact catalyst for Lily's villain origin story. It's the first time Lily realizes that her mere existence brings pain to others. She internalizes the guilt. Until years later, when she is sold off in a business marriage, used as a pawn, and emotionally blackmailed into oblivion. That's when she fully snaps, turns completely ruthless, and drags the entire Kensington empire down into the dirt. The system's voice turned chillingly robotic. Critical plot node triggered. Host must falsely accuse the true heiress of stealing your life. Host must force the Kensington family to choose between you and her. Warning. Passive sabotage detected. Connecting to mainframe protocol. High-tier surveillance activated. If any bugs or loopholes are detected, the system will initiate a forced override of Host's motor functions. At 7 o'clock that evening, the Kensington living room was dead quiet.